Here we are. So, welcome everybody and welcome Ken for our new episode of Above the Physical. I'm really excited to share this adventure on YouTube with Ken Godey from the United States, Dallas. Do I
Absolutely.
remember correctly? Yes. And I am from Italy. So, two continents meeting on YouTube, which is quite magic already, quite above the physical. And for today's episode, we're going to have a little conversation on how the energy can impact and does impact the physical. So, Ken, I want you to start this beautiful conversation.
Well, you start. Ask me some questions.
I start asking some questions. No, that's a
Sure.
good idea because we do improvise for everybody
Yes.
who's watching. Just know that we are not professionals and that we decide what we talk about, but we don't really prepare anything. So we play a little ping pong to start talking about it. But actually, I have a question because I am recently trained as a hypnotherapist, and
Yeah.
I have learned a lot about how our body can be really impacted by our emotions and our thoughts. And our emotion and our thoughts are not physical, they are energy. Because I think we are energy beings before being three-dimensional beings. So, how would you explain to someone who doesn't really know a lot about the power of thoughts and emotions what they do?
Thoughts and emotions have such an impact on everything we do. When what we think about, the old saying is what you think about is what you become. Right. And there's a lot to be said with that. I mean, if you are constantly in a negative thought pattern or a negative energy pattern, that's what brings more of that into your life. So, for instance, if you think about lack all the time, I don't have enough money for this. I can't do this. I can't. Well, that manifests into your life. Exactly. All those things start happening to you at an accelerated rate. And the opposite is also true. If you're thinking about abundance and wonderful things, magically that starts appearing in your life.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. And I actually want to add something more. How do you say this in English? Something like that can really describe um, from a theoretical point of view.
Hmm.
Because when I went through my training journey for RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, the first one of the first things that we were taught were the rules of the mind, because we are human beings. We have a lot of systems and organs in our body, and we have a brain, but the brain is not the mind. The brain and the mind are like the pilot, the mind, and the brain is the car, the vehicle that then can handle everything else in our body. But the very pilot is the mind, and the mind works by repetition. So there are, according to Marisa Peer, this English therapist that created RTT, there are like 20, more or less 20 rules of the mind. And they are kind of knowns because we can often happen to see online these kind of statements. But these statements are not just statements, actually, they have been studied. So our human mind has been studied a lot in the last 40 years by many scientists, by many therapists, by many researchers. And it's now really clear that our mind learns by repetition. So what Ken was saying, what you were saying, was if we keep repeating certain thoughts and certain words every day, because the mind learns by repetition, it will then instruct our brain to build some neuropaths that are going to make us work in a very specific way. And this is just about the power that a thought has if it's repeated every day. And I think, Ken, that you know also what Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing since 40 years. And he says just the same. And he teaches people to learn how to become nobody, no one, no place, no time, nowhere. Because the moment that we get rid, that we release everything that concerns the outside, the appearance, then we can really go inside ourselves and get connected with this non-physical energy that we are. Have you digged a little bit in Dr. Joe Dispenza's work?
Absolutely. You know, it's fascinating to me the power that we have, the frequency we vibrate at, what power it has over our physical body. You know, it's you said all that very eloquently. And in simple terms, it's like whatever frequency you're vibrating at, whatever energy you're around, whatever you're seeing, whatever you're believing, that embeds in our subconscious mind and translates to physical things that are happening. If you think about sickness all the time, chances are you're going to come down with some of the things that you're thinking about, because you're creating that frequency, and that's going into your subconscious over time, and it keeps manifesting itself worse and worse and worse until you break that cycle. I know you study a lot of different things, like with hypnosis, you're pattern interrupting those cycles to work with someone's subconscious to literally reprogram their
The subconscious
subconscious.
mind.
So how does that relate to this? Or a lot of people want to know, well, what is hypnosis and how powerful it is to put the good suggestions into your mind. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Absolutely. Actually, it's, you know, I discovered that it's like going back home. First of all, when I started the training before the summer, in the end of spring, actually, I was a little bit afraid of what hypnosis could do, because as everybody else, I thought of hypnosis from what I had watched on TV. So watching on TV these shows where people get just asleep, and then there is someone who makes them bark or makes them, you know, do funny things. I thought, oh my God, but you know, this is like becoming a tricky magician. But actually, clinical hypnosis and hypnosis used to help people to reprogram their subconscious is a state that our brain can go through every day without even knowing it. So when we look into the vocabulary, if we search for the word hypnosis in the vocabulary, it will come out as a natural state of human brain, because hypnosis is equal to the alpha waves. And we are very often in this alpha wave state. When we wake up in the morning, when we go to bed, before we fall asleep, our brain goes into these alpha waves. But also when we drive a car, when we read a book that we really love, we are into these alpha brain waves, which means that we are hypnotizing ourselves. Also, when we watch a movie that we really like, but also when we speak to a person and we are in this deep conversation, that nothing else matters, that we are not aware of the surroundings, what is happening around us. This is also being hypnotized or being in an hypnotic state. So many people are still a little bit scared about the word hypnosis because of what you see on TV, but actually hypnosis is our natural state of being very focused on ourselves. When we focus on ourselves, then all the rest around us is less important, and we are in a state of awareness that allows us to then reprogram our subconscious mind that is very powerful because it's us, not because it's something else. And I think that when I started this training, I discovered even more, because I have already read Dr. Joe Dispenza, I had already read Dr. Bruce Lipton book, and also something by Greg Braden. And for me, it was already clear that we are very powerful. But this training really gave me the tools to the how to, the how to handle this powerful pilot that we have. We are, not we have, we are a powerful pilot. It's just that, as you were telling before, in a way, we program ourselves since birth to be unhappy. And then at one point, we realize that we are unhappy and we don't know how to change that. And because we haven't studied, but these things could be really explained to very young children, I think, Ken, because when you teach a young kid, if you keep repeating this, your mind is going to function like that, and your brain is going to react like that. And then your body is going to express what is happening in your mind and your brain in a certain way. I think that even a 3-year-old kid will understand. But because nobody explains this when we are children, we become adults, and sometimes it happened to me too. We get lost, like we forget about ourselves, and we don't know how to then find again our direction and our balance. And you talked about the thoughts, and the energy, how did you say, the thoughts are creating physical changes. And once we understand this, we really want to be mindful. That's what mindfulness comes from the concept that we want to become really mindful of every single thoughts. Ken, did you know that we are producing almost automatically every day over 60,000 thoughts?
Absolutely.
Actually, there are people that even manage to go up to 80,000 thoughts per day.
It's fascinating what we actually think about on a daily basis and how it affects us.
Yeah. And I think that it's never too late to learn this, because it doesn't matter what age you are. You can start training yourself, because you have been training your mind and then your brain and then your body for your entire life. And once you understand that you have the power, then you can start training yourself. It's like going to the gym. It's really like being very disciplined. Like we went to school, we learned the alphabet, and then we learned to put the letters together. And from the letters, we started the phrases. And then from the phrases, we started to write, like resumes and then essays. And there are people who then write books. But if we don't train with the alphabet first, we cannot go and write a book, or we can, but it's going to be a book that it's not understandable, you know, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it's amazing. It brings back to me an experience that I had when I lived in Hawaii. I went to a health and wellness expo of some sort in Hawaii, and they had one of the speakers at that expo was a hypnotist. And so they were doing like a stage hypno, hypnosis
Hypnosis.
on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
And they took like three groups of people, like three people in each group. And he put all those groups under hypnotic suggestion, right? And then each group had them do something different. And there was a group that was sitting back to back with the little group I had was in. And whatever we were doing for the group I was in, I was listening to it, but it was like stage hypnosis kind of stuff. But the group that was behind me, when he went to give suggestions to them, he talked about a little phrase that was used to help clear the bad energy from crystals. All right. And to me, that intrigued me more than what he was telling my group. Right. So
What were you told? What was your group told?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
I
It
was
was not
hypnotized.
interesting, and your mind
It
didn't
didn't, I didn't, it was like not
memorize
fun
it.
for me, whatever. I think I did. I don't know. I don't remember if I did it or didn't do it, but I was intrigued with what he was telling the group that was sitting right behind me. And to this day, I remember that statement and can pull it out any time. So for the 3 seconds of him saying that, I've remembered it all my life. And
Yeah.
it's stuck every time. So what a powerful what a powerful tool that is that
It's
we
our
have the
brain, it's
ability.
our mind, and then our brain. This is a powerful tool.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
And when we really understand it, we the only thing we want to do is to be really careful about what thoughts we are thinking, what
That's for sure.
words. Yeah, have you ever read online like words are magic, words are spells? Because the
Mm,
words that we repeat on and on every day are going to become our reality. And if we are always pulling ourselves down, if we are always, you know, criticizing ourselves, and not even speaking about others, but if we think badly of ourselves every day, and we are adults, how can our life be beautiful if we keep criticizing ourselves? It's not possible.
not easily.
And
Yeah.
when we understand this, we can even see the connection with the body, with the organs. So you said something about emotions before,
Hmm.
and emotions are vibrations. Yeah, it's what makes us become aware that we are alive, actually. Otherwise, we would be robots, you know, we would be AI. But actually, we can feel happy, we can feel sad, we can be angry, we can feel, you know, I don't know, romantic, in love, whatever. But it's about frequencies, it's about energies. And I can tell you about me when I was a ballet dancer. I was not trained to use my mind. I was not trained to tell myself good things. And I would get injured very often because I was never happy with myself. Now I can say it, but at that time, I didn't understand. I didn't understand why I would get so often injured with my ankles, with my, I don't know, mostly it was about ankles and feet. Okay. The joints and the bones in my feet and ankles were the most impacted because, of course, going on point shoes, these are the areas for a ballet dancer that are more affected. But then, because I kept not listening to myself, and I kept not praising myself, somehow my body at one point brought me to the last signal where my back broke. No explanation. I was walking in the street. There was no, I call it an accident because it was an accident, but I didn't do anything. I didn't fall. Nobody ran over me. I wasn't driving. I was just going to enter the tramway. And it took me many, many years to understand why. I asked myself for so many years, but why me? Why me? Why this thing happened? And the doctors couldn't understand it. Because the doctors only understand what they can explain physically. They never look into the non-physical. And this is why I am more and more and more fascinated in the non-physical. And I look forward to when medicine, like Western medicine, because the Eastern medicine and the traditional ancestral medicines already knew. But when the modern medicine will look into the non-physical, making the connection with the physical, I think that there will be like a huge breakthrough in how people can start healing themselves.
Absolutely. There's so many different modalities and things out there that are so helpful to the body that come from the non-physical, whether that be hypnosis or light or everything actually boils down to vibration of some sort, a wave of vibration that affects our body physically. It's like what you talked about, alpha,
the alpha waves.
The alpha waves.
It's frequencies.
It's a frequency that our bodies are running on, that we're used to. It's like pre-programmed into our body. Those things magically came from creation and are programmed into our body that it affects us in a way. It's like when I do a lot of gratitude work, and I do that every morning and every night when I'm in alpha state, and it just goes in. And it's amazing what happens when you're in that state and you're grateful for things. Magic starts happening around you. I mean, you can't help it. I mean, it could be nothing more than finding a parking space every time you need one, to money showing up, to you're hungry and somebody brings you food.
To finding your son's 18th birthday party space like 9 days before. That's also a miracle. The impossible can happen. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was going to ask you what kind of habit a person can develop very easily that can then impact our thoughts. And you just said it before I asked. So the gratitude practice, you read my mind.
I read your mind.
Beautiful. But this is true. I also started this gratitude practice. Let me see. Really daily. I started it in 2019. And it's, before I was trying it, but because I was still getting clear in my looping thoughts, I wasn't really very disciplined. And, a habit is a habit. If you don't do it daily, it doesn't become automatic. Now it's automatic. Now, even when I have my walks and I don't have anything else to do, I just keep practicing gratitude. Before, it was so difficult. So what I advise people is to do what I did when I started. And then, Ken, you're going to tell how you started your practice. But I started by making a list in the morning of 3 things I was grateful for. And then in the evening, I would also be practicing gratitude for my day and what had happened in my day. But because I was not used to it, and because things were really happening in my life because of all the thoughts that I had been repeating myself, so it was, can I say a bad word? It was not nice things that were happening, like shitty things, it was really terrible. And I didn't see the logic between me finding 3 things to be grateful for, because of course it takes time for our mind to then instruct our brain. And in the very beginning, I couldn't even find 3 things. So I would say 2 things I'm grateful for, and then I would repeat one of the 2. Now I can have a never ending. Now, I mean, it's been years. At one point, I've become so used because it became familiar. When it started being a habit, because I didn't give up, because I told myself, if I keep doing like I have done until now, it's hell and I don't like it. So I have to try something else, but I have to try it as long as I live, because otherwise I will not see the difference, because I have done this other way for so many decades that I need to take at least as many decades to see things changing. And actually they are changing. And gratitude, I don't know if you know, there is this scale of emotions. I don't know the name of the guy who created. Do you know this scale of emotions?
I'm not familiar with it, no.
From fear to love. And there is a whole range of emotion, and every emotion has got a score or even a frequency. Yeah. And gratitude has one of the highest frequencies, actually. And then the next one, I think it's love. But we human beings, we don't really know what love is, because we are always attached to some desires. It's different. Love is not being attached. But it took me a very long time. How did you start your gratitude practice? When?
I mean, I've been doing it for actually a long time and not realizing the effect of that. And I've done the opposite of gratitude and definitely saw the effect of that. But I consciously, probably for the last 30 years, I've practiced like a daily gratitude thing. And what I've learned along the way is it's the frequency of vibration when you're being grateful for something. It's one thing to say, oh, I'm grateful for the sun coming up. But when you put energy behind what you're thinking, it's like, oh my God, I'm grateful for the sun coming up and the way it feels warm on my face. And so with that energy
When you
behind
really
it,
feel it, when you
when
really,
you
really
feel
feel
it,
it.
the
Yeah.
emotion behind it created this magical effect. And a good friend of mine, for the last 11 years, we call it walking in miracles, right? And
Yeah.
what does that mean? That means like when you're grateful for all of the things that you have and that you will have, doesn't even have to exist in this plane yet. When you're already grateful for those things, magical stuff happens every day, every hour, and
Yeah.
whether you want to call that manifesting or
Creating, being
creating,
creative.
creating, but it's
Yeah.
magical to do, and people don't realize that that's one of the key things. Um, they
Yeah.
talk about manifesting a lot, and there was like when the book came out, The Secret, you know, many people started manifesting because of that book, and there was a movie, and all these famous
Yeah.
people put their information in that book. And when I read it, when I discussed it with a number of well-educated people on the subject. The one thing that was weak in there was, and they touched on it, but it was weak, was the whole chapter on gratitude. And it's really the key to all of the other things working even better because it amplifies the frequency that we're putting out.
What is the name of the author of the book and also of the film? What's her name? It's a woman.
Yeah.
Could it be Lorna Byrne? Something like this? Could it be her?
Yeah. I mean,
I think that she then wrote a book on gratitude.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was it was there, but it wasn't emphasized as much as I know it to be true, that without that, some of the other stuff is just words.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And also, you know, when we are in gratitude and we feel it, our body, our cells are changing. When we are able, when, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches the meditation techniques, I can go through hypnosis, people can do their own way. But when we manage to really feel in our body the gratitude and then the peace that gratitude brings with it, our cells are changing, our DNA is changing. And now there are published studies that show it because it's been studied. And I think that this should really make people understand that we are powerful beings. We are powerful beings, and we are taught in school that we have to just be content with what someone else wants us to have. So when we really understand that we are powerful, then we are also free to be ourselves and to choose from within, which is from your heart, from the gratitude, from the awareness that you have a power. And it's not a power to be more powerful than others. It's a power that makes you want everybody else be as powerful as you understand you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I know you do some breath work and things like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that you can share with the group of people that are on this Zoom, that would be some easy things to help get us into that state of, is there anything you can share, things we can actually do? Like, here's something you can do.
Yeah, something very, very simple, actually, when you want to calm down and find more easily even that alpha brainwave when you wake up in the morning, or when you, even better when you go to bed, because then you relax so well and you sleep better, to practice this breathing technique that is called triangle technique, which means that you count in, when you inhale, you count to 3, for instance, and when you breathe out, you count the double, and it's going to be a 6. And you have to do it very slowly. So you inhale 1, 2, 3, and you exhale without pausing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from there, you can either make a 2 seconds pause or start again with the breathing in 3 and breathing out. And this is going to really activate our parasympathetic system, which is the rest and digest system that helps us calm down. So when we really want to calm down and then be able to focus on something, we can do this kind of breathing, and it's really, really, really helpful. And you don't need to do 1 hour of this breathing, you know, like 5-10 minutes is already enough. And the more you practice it, the less you need, the less minutes you need, actually. But, you know, if you manage to have a 5-10 minutes routine in the evening or in the morning with that, I think that you will notice a difference. I would actually be very curious for some comments in the month or in the years after this video is there on my YouTube channel to read people who are trying it and to let me know and can know how you're doing afterwards. So I think that we had a beautiful, I mean, I could stay here for hours, but I have an appointment. I cannot stay longer. And anyway, YouTube doesn't really like very long videos, but I think it's very beautiful conversations that we are having, and we can go on next time. It's going to be more or less next month. When, Ken? When do you think? Let's decide now.
Okay.
Let's decide live. What do you think is the most suitable day for our next live? Let's open our calendar.
Yeah, let's.
So next month is December, last month of the year. And we had our first one, I can tell you when.
Yeah.
Allora.
How about
Yeah.
how about the 26th?
The 26th of December after
Yeah,
Christmas. Beautiful.
the day
Yeah.
after Christmas. What a perfect time.
What a perfect time. Absolutely. So we are going to be here after Christmas on the 26th of December. And what we're going to talk about, let's decide this time. What is it that we're going to share between Christmas and New Year 2026? Well, do you have any ideas? I'm going to write on my
I'm sure
calendar.
sure I will. I can't think of anything in particular at this second, but
yeah, I think that we can keep going on with the emotion thoughts related to how these produce our self-sabotage or something like
yes.
this. What do you think?
Yes, I like that.
Okay, I like it too, because yesterday I attended a beautiful webinar on self-sabotage. So I think that it's very much related to our thoughts and emotions.
Yes.
And so I wish you a beautiful day in Kansas City. Where are you exactly?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. Oh my God.
Dallas,
Dallas, Texas. It's why have I memorized that you are in Kansas City? I don't know. There is something.
It's sort of like
Kansas.
north of me somewhere, Kansas City. So.
But it's another place. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's close. So
it's close. Yeah, I'm getting closer.
It's in the middle of the United States, so it's good.
Well,
same time zone.
Same time zone for you, not for me.
Yeah.
But we will be here next month and we will share about how we self-sabotage ourselves. So thank you, yes. Ken, again, for your kindness and for all you share with me.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see how all of that, everybody who listens to this broadcast, how that affects them over the next month. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's see what comments.
Write some comments so we can read those and give you some gratitude for sharing.
Yes, absolutely. And also leave some comments on what other topics you would like us to touch so that we can have the following episodes and we can, just share on something that you would like to hear from or to hear about. So thank you again. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and If you think that this content is really interesting, you can also share it to help my channel grow in visibility with all these logarithm strategies that people have to use to be visible on the social media. See you soon, Ken. Bye-bye.